Hello everybody, happy Halloween season! Woo! Ghouls and ghosts and things. Since it's Halloween time, I think it only makes sense to talk about a game which actually has managed to scare me. To the point I actually almost didn't make this video because it freaked me out that much. But I eventually managed to, and I'm glad that I pushed through and actually beat the game, because this is one of my new favourite FNAF fan games. I know I say that a lot, but I do really mean it this time, and all the other times. This is a good game. I've played a lot of FNAF games over the years, and this is the first one in a long time that has actually, again, scared me. So, that is saying something. This game was made by Kimazuru. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. They worked on other FNAF games, like Blood and Gears, but before they made Banshee, they also made Revenant, which I didn't even know before researching for this video. And that's a game that I played ages ago, and I really liked that one as well. So I'll put their card in the description, along with any other people of note who show up in the video. So make sure you support them afterwards. Enjoy, have fun, or don't. I'm not gonna make you. This game is based off FNAF Pizzeria Simulator, a game which always interested me, but I never really played it compared to other FNAF games. I'm not sure why, but there's something I could never really get my head around. It's like, I can't do, like making sure I do the tasks and keeping myself alive. I think it's a good game, it's just too hard for me to understand. I always liked it in my head, though. Except for a few things, you know. The jump scare could use a bit of work, and obviously the elephant in the room, him. Banshee takes all the good things from Pizzeria Sim and improves them tenfold. The office, the characters, the jump scares, even the pizzeria sections get a major improvement. Not to say that Pizzeria Simulator is a bad game, I'm just saying I think Banshee is better. Also, before we get started, I do need to warn you there will be some flashing lights. So, warning for flashing lights. Flashing light warning. So, watch at your own risk and whatnot. And let's see what happens when we boot up the game. Banshee. Noun. A female spirit in Gaelic folklore believed to presage by wailing a death in the family. The ocean. Shifting mountains with no end. Howling wind and crashing waves. The barrier between life and death. After that mini English lesson, which was pretty cool, we are told about Fredbear's family diner being opened and, you guessed it, whole bunch of child death, including both co-owners' children, Henry's only daughter, and William's youngest son, though all the evidence that was found was inconclusive. A new location was opened, but it failed because of the reputation of the brand, and they didn't have enough money to do it. Henry then left the franchise, while William opened an animatronic rental service, so you could hire the animatronics for parties. Until William and his daughter both disappeared under mysterious circumstances. And now, 10 years after that, Henry has renovated an old Freddy's Pizza joint, which opens in just 5 days. Or 5 nights. The text closes off by saying, "This is the end. Those monsters are only driven by anger and fading memories. It's about time they get put to sleep." Before Lefty's face flashes on the screen for a brief moment, and we get the first Salvage section. Oh, hello there, friend. Instantly you can see the scrap trap design is night and day, though I do like how he keeps most of his iconic distinctive features, like the missing arm and ear and, you know, the top of his head being exposed. Also, in Banshee, he's just referred to as William Afton instead of Scrap Trap, so that's cool. It's a little dark in here, but don't worry about it, because we're going to get a real good look at him up close pretty soon. Alright, I didn't mean that close. I meant in the office, but whatever. This is the salvage section of the night, so we actually do it at the start this time, so if you fail, you can always try again, which is really nice. It's also just a better mechanic, I think. What you have to do is pull up an EMF reader and watch it slowly tick up. The longer you play the sound on the tape recorder, the higher it goes. But if you let it get too high for too long, the animatronic will kill you. But the higher you let it go for longer, the more money you get out of it. So it's more of a risk and reward thing, you know? After finishing that up, we're told to keep a close eye on him. We load into the office, and the phone guy tells us how to navigate through the computer. If we enter CC into it, we can access the camera feed, and we get to see all the different rooms. The closest cameras to us being feed 3 and 4 on either side of our room. We can also type in task 1 to 4 to complete them. The more tasks you complete by the end of the night, the bigger bonus you'll get. The first task was making sure both lists line up with each other, to make sure it's sent to the right place. I often found this to be one of the harder ones, because you have to check everything pretty thoroughly, since sometimes it's being sent to the UK or the US, so even one letter can make you off, making you lose your win streak, and you need to get a streak of 8 to finish the task. The second task is also kind of difficult. You gotta choose which papers to shred for the company. So you've got to read the paragraph and see if it makes the company look bad. Keeping ones saying things about how good the pizzeria is and stuff, and shredding ones about rotting smell and bitten children. Can't have those getting out, can we? Just like before, we need 8 in a row to finish the task. And then the next 2 tasks are focused on the animatronics themselves. The third task being animatronic calibration, which is basically just wait for the number to generate and then type it in a couple times until you move on to the next animatronic. So on, so forth, until the task is over. And then the fourth and final task is animatronic stability procedure. It's kind of the same as before. We wait until the arrow key combination is done, and then type that in with our arrow keys on the keyboard. And then that's all the tasks done. But what I really love about this game is you don't need to do the tasks if you don't want to. The night ends at 6 AM, unlike Pizzeria Sim, where the night only ends once all the tasks are done. But there's still an incentive to do them because of the bonus. Finally, the phone guy tells us that if things in the office start looking off, such as posters and binders, we should close our eyes for a few seconds. He doesn't explain why, but I think I'll trust him on that one. One by one, I worked my way through the tasks, watching Mr. Afton shift from room to room occasionally. And I think these are the best camera renders I've seen in any FNAF game. It really captures the feeling of an old CCTV camera, being like, desaturated and fuzzy, not to mention how scary William looks just standing there in the shadows and things. I also think it's cool how the time is stamped on the camera. I really like it when games take time to fit these things into the game instead of just plastering them on your screen. Like, it helps to add that little bit of immersion, looking at the time on the computer instead of it just floating in the air, Eventually, William was right outside my office, so I held my breath and waited for a moment, and when the camera flickered, I turned to face him. Okay, bye. Thanks for not killing me. His whole deal is that he can't kill you if you're looking at him. Oh, what's wrong? Too shy? I caught you at the door, now you're too shy to jump scare me. Oh, boo 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 boo. Oh, get out of here, toothpaste boy. Anyway, he leaves, and I can get on with my tasks, and eventually at 4 AM we start hearing a clock, and this droning sound, and we get closer and closer to the end of the night, which makes me panic and stress, even though I'm doing fine, and shut up, I'm fine, everything's fine, nothing's wrong. This is the first night though, so it's not too intense. We reach 6 AM, yippee! The night ends, and I'm safe. Never mind. I know you remember this house. I do. Why did you do that, Mike? I'm sorry. No, you're not. You're just scared. Excuse me, sauce? Well, that just happened. Kill me. So that was Yellow Bear. He's the one who changes things in your office and you've got to close your eyes for. Which, I can see why. Get it? See? I can see what he's no eye. I'm funny. We can see there's no endoskeleton. And he's just kind of lathered up in blood, which goes well. It's clear he's some kind of ghost or spirit haunting us for whatever reason. It's also pretty cool he's called Yellow Bear, as I'm sure most of you already know. This was Golden Freddy's name in FNAF 1 game files, before the FNAF fandom called him Golden Freddy. Which is probably the only time that FNAF fans have named something better than its original name. This community has always been so creative with its name. Like, oh, like that? Yeah, that's Phone Guy. Oh, that guy? That's Purple Guy. Except from the obvious... Obvious? What? Except from the obvious exception of Freddles. Freddles are perfect. But, yeah, that's a neat little nod to FNAF 1. Then we see all the tasks we did, and our salvage score, and how many lawsuits we got. Yay, I love being sued. Back on the main menu, there's a new red square. Yay, I love red squares. I am Mr. Maker. We click on it, and there's an old sculpture depicting a Banshee. Is that what that is? I think I flushed that down my toilet after eating too much grey Play-Doh, but okay. Spin it around and dig in its butt and we find a note. The old tycoon has secrets. Look northwest to find your key, then wait one night and look again. The door will then show. Huh. Okay. Well, let's go check out the tycoon then, I suppose. Oh, how I hate it! Get it off my screen! After this abomination teaches us the ropes, we check northwest. That way. If you zoom in, you can see the little itty bitty red dot. Clicking on it takes us to this screen where we can pick up this rose. How lovely! I'm sure that won't be important in any way in the future. I make an epic pizzeria with a little money I've made, and continue on to Salvage 2, where we meet everyone's favorite spaghetti of wires, that thing, which serves as our replacement for Molten Freddy, and is referred to as just Molten. And oh boy, are they tall! I'll point it out on the cameras later, because Jesus Christ, this thing is a lot taller than it looks. The main difference from Pizzeria Sim's design is obviously they aren't wearing the Freddy mask. Fun fact, the mask that you can see on this torso was actually supposed to be the mask, but it was repurposed only a few weeks before the full game's released to make it Ennard's mask, which I think is more fitting than Molten Freddy. I mean, God knows I'm behind on my FNAF lore, but I'm not too sure. I know it's all the fun times meshed together. I know Molten Freddy's all the fun times meshed together. But something I never really understood was where the mask is from, or why, you know? Either way, I think Ennard's mask just works better. And he even has a little bow tie. It's completely off-center, but who cares? At least they tried. Anyway, we finish up this salvage section and move on to night 2. And oh boy, when I said he was big, I was not joking. That's a big boy! That's a big boy! Some of Molten's camera renders... What? Some of Molten's camera renders are probably my favorite in the whole game. There's just something about the menacing mass of Molten dead child soul dragging itself around the pizzeria that's really unnerving. The only hint that we get is they like to play hide and seek. That's horrifying, and soon enough we'll find that out the hard way. Find him, find him, find him, find him, find him, find him. That was stressful. I can't wait to deal with that from now on. Basically, they make their way to your office before slooping away, and then you gotta find them on the camera and play the audio if the lights start flashing, or else they'll kill you. If the lights don't start flashing, then it's not a problem. Again, it's only night 2, so far it's not too difficult dealing with these 3, but it's definitely ramping up at a nice pace. So far, this was the point in my first playthrough. I just completely gave up on doing the tasks, because I suck at video games, but hey, at least it's only gonna get harder from here. Anyway, after a couple attempts, I beat the night, and I took all my money and I took all my lawsuits on my merry way back to the Tycoon section, so I could spend all my hard-earned money on nothing, since I didn't hire anyone, so we didn't level up or anything. I should probably do that for next time. So I'll hire some mascots and janitors and such. I really don't envy anyone who's visited this restaurant in the past like 2 days. There's been no staff, no workers, just these 2. Also, it's been one night, so let's go back to the red place the Banshee told us about, and we can place the rose we got on night 1 onto this pedestal thing. That's weird. Enough of that, onto Salvage 3, baby, woo! That's not baby, actually, that's Lefty, but with some lovely new ribbons, or frilly thing, I don't know what they're called, but they're cool. Also, one thing I love about some FNAF character designs is the look of the fabric they're made of. Because I grew up liking FNAF, so I've always had an interest with real-life robots too. These kind of designs just make much more sense. Like, all the electronic and metal stuff is covered under a thin layer of felt or whatever. I mean, like, how expensive would it be to make something like a Funtime animatronic? Are you kidding me? For example, Jarakai Games, link in the description, estimated the animatronics like Funtime Foxy and Funtime Freddy would cost up to $10 million each. It just makes more sense for an animatronic to look like this rather than this. Instead of spending $10 million, Lefty on the other hand is usually a whopping $5. almost like someone wants us to buy her. Although in Banshee, we get them for free, so now I can use my $5 to buy a burger. I thought I ripped that out of the script because it sucked, but nope, it's still there. After a couple EMF readings, we boot her into the pizzeria, and now it's our problem. Back in the office, we go and, hey, my doors work now. I didn't even realize we had those. Are they useful? No, but they will be soon. Lefty's hint tells us the audio calms her down, but she won't retreat. So at the start of the night, we head over to her camera and play the audio. I really like how Lefty and Molten both need the audio function, and while Molten is only occasionally a threat, Lefty on the other hand is a constant looming problem for us, because the audio again doesn't stop her, it just slows her down. So eventually she will move closer and closer, and obviously if you've got to use the audio to find Molten and things, then Lefty is only going to get faster. So as long as we find Molten and then go back and play it again, Lefty should not be that big of an issue. It's only night 3 and we've already got to do all this. This one took me a few tries to get the hang of. I never really kept the camera on Lefty. I just assumed they were still on stage. So suddenly at like 3 AM they were outside my office. And since they do still progress when you play the audio on them, I just slowly ended up dying. But after a few times, you know me, I'm a pro gamer, I got the hang of it, and I beat the night eventually. Back at the restaurant, I was finally level 2, yay! Which means I can actually buy some animatronics now. I decided on Mr. Hippo and Orville the Elephant, because I feel like they mix well together, along with some balloons and a ping pong table. This place is awesome, dude, it's really coming together, you know? You can sit down or play ping pong. Anyway, on to Salvage 5, Lefty. Woohoo! Wait, no, this one's baby. God damn it! Just like all the others, I love this model way more than the Pizzeria Sim one. I definitely don't miss the giant claw and the roller skates she had, for some reason. I'm not going to think about what could be inside the box, though. I don't want to think what's in the box. I know what's in the box. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to. Anyway, we finish up the salvage section and onto the 4th night. Our hint is to catch her when she leaves, and use doors. Don't like the sound of that, but okay. Also, I wasn't too sure what that meant until I watched her on the camera get closer and closer until eventually... What's up? You're good? You need something? Okay, bye then. Better close that door. One thing that took me a while to get the hang of is exactly how long I'm supposed to keep the door closed. Eventually, I was pretty sure she leaves after this audio cue, but I left it closed a little bit longer just to make sure. So yeah, it's play the audio on Lefty, keep an eye out for Afton and Molten. If the lights start flickering, find Molten and play the audio. Keep a lookout for which door Baby's going to, and close our eyes once again for Yellow Bear. After a few attempts, I was getting closer and closer, and you start hearing the music ramp up. And up, and, you know, you keep going, and oh no, it's gonna keep going, and then we beat the night, because we're epic, you know, we're always epic. Once more, I upgraded my pizzeria with a few animatronics, and a few more staff before returning to the menu. There's no salvage section this night, because we've already got all the animatronics, so we move straight on to night 5, the final night of the game. As usual, I log onto my computer, and rush to the main stage where Lefty should be, but... they're not there. Where are they? I checked every camera. I looked in all the corners, all the dark places you could be hiding. She wasn't there. She just left. On night 5, there is no Lefty. So I anxiously went around my usual strategy and whatnot, and without much trouble, I beat the night. That was it? Michael, I hope you received this message. I'm sorry I wanted it to end this way. I thought there was nothing I could do. I'd lost her. I lost Charlotte. You of all people know this feeling too well. But I just can't let go like this. She's my one and only daughter. You understand, don't you? I can bring her back. I will bring her back. When the fire burns, she will not be in the building. I'll take good care of Charlotte. Keep her safe. I did not expect you to forgive me, for I have wasted your time. But I am making the right choice. Do not proceed with your shift tonight. Sincerely, Henry. So that's where Lefty went. Henry took her out of the facility in order to burn it all down and set the souls free. All the souls in Molten are free, Elizabeth's soul is free, and obviously William Afton is a burn-in. But Charlotte's not. The credits roll, but suddenly it has a change of tone at the end. This isn't the end, and you know it. Henry is lost. The Banshee will guide him. As I'm brought to the main menu again, the words stuck in my head. The Banshee will guide him. I think the time's come for me to lay my cards on the table now. I may have not been 100% honest with you all. I mean, sure, everything I've said is true, and this is how I played through the whole game the first time, but I'm sure you feel like something's missing, right? Like, there's something I haven't been telling you. Well, after finishing the game, I felt like that too, so I took a bit, I bit the bullet, and I did what I knew I needed to do. I reset my full game back to the very beginning, and pressed new game. But before we get into the first night, let's go to the Tycoon, okay? Does anything look off to you here? The logo, right? There's something up with the logo. And when we click it, we're brought here. If I'd pressed this in any night, my first playthrough, we would have been getting these messages each and every single night. But I just didn't realize. But now I'm gonna play the entire game and get the true ending. After I finished night 1 and read the Banshee's note again, picked up the rose, and went along to night 2, I placed the rose on the pedestal and looked closely, and then it hit me. The drawing on the pedestal was the same as the drawing inside my office. So at the start of night 3, I go in my office and I click on the poster. I had no idea what this thing was until I went back to the Banshee again, and then I saw it. The strange indent that I hadn't even noticed was there before. This thing would fit perfectly into it. So I put it in, and then read the next note. Leave me and this area, then pay another visit. Just like them, I will be gone. Wait another night and the clouds may part, and the sun will shine brighter than ever. If we click on it again, we can see the clouds, the clouds. I return to the main menu and continue on to night 3. Now I can pretty easily get through the night while doing tasks. One fun thing is that once you finish the game once you replay it, if you get all 4 tasks done before the end of the night, you can just leave early. I would do the tasks as quickly as possible, and then I could leave the night at like 3 AM. I think this is really rewarding, because you are supposed to play the game twice. So it's nice that if you're good enough, you can just skip through like half the time. Who would have thought that the more you play a game, the better you get at it? Anyway, after night 3, we return to the clouds, and they part ways, to show a code with the words, the safe below them. The safe? What's safe? I played some mini games while I thought about it, and then while I booted up the Tycoon again, there it was, the safe. I didn't have enough level, but there it was. I finished night 4 and then had enough XP to open it. So I put the code in that God told me to, and it's a part of a key and a photo. Before we get into that, I think we should read the messages that we get on each night. The first night's one is, Henry is stuck in a prison of his own making. The second, your brother doesn't remember much, but he does remember his last moments. After that, it's drawn into death through blood. They're playing with you. You're like prey. And finally, oh, that's the door. We open it, and we get this story. This is the story of an only child. She was young, bright, and born into a loving family. Although seemingly lucky, her father had started to ignore her, burying himself in his own work. With her mother recently passing, she became socially outcast, and the other children taking advantage of her kindness. Her will was strong. No matter what was thrown at her, she always tried to do the right thing. But that didn't matter. A strong will wasn't enough for poor Charlotte. During a birthday party, everyone decided it would be fun to play an innocent prank on her. They tricked her into stepping outside, then shoved her onto the sidewalk and shut the door behind. She isn't there anymore, Henry. It was midway through reading this that I realized that I forgot to press record on my thing, so I just played the entire game for maybe the 7th time, because I had to keep playing it again, because I keep messing it up. And the one time I did it right, I forgot to press record. Anyway, this story is clearly the events that led up to Charlotte Emily's murder. And by the last line, we know it's addressed directly to Henry before the screen is cracked. If you're not caught up on the FNAF lore, this might be a bit confusing. I had to recap everything myself, but after this I realized something. To summarize the characters of Pizzeria Simulator, William Afton is William Afton inside a scrap trap, his daughter Elizabeth possesses the scrap baby suit, all the other dead children possess Molten Freddy, or in this case Molten, and Charlotte Emily possesses the puppet, which of course was trapped inside of Lefty. But in that case, who does that make us? And more importantly, who does that make Yellow Bar? Yellow Bear, even. Let's take a look into one of the older quotes we get from the strange red guy. Your brother doesn't remember much. He does remember his last moments. Okay, look, I haven't been involved in the FNAF lore for a while, okay? I know you know it's Michael or whatever. You play as Michael Afton, okay? Son of William Afton, brother to Baby, and of course, older brother to the crying child. Dave, was it Dave? I don't know. The crying child, you know, the Bite of 87, or 83, even. Haha. And such. Look at Yellow Bear's model. Most of the notable features are near the top of his head. So I assume Yellow Bear is the crying child, and that's why he haunts us throughout the whole game. And we're Michael, because obviously we are the one who put him in the suit and kind of killed him. Going back to the first night, at the end, he shows us the house they grew up in. And with this knowledge, we're ready to do the final night with all the secrets done and see what happens. Move! Okay, so that's what was supposed to happen to Lefty. If we had done all this the first time, we would face off against all the regular animatronics with the puppet, who plays a sound cue where she appears, and whichever door she's at, you have to push her and shut the door. I really like her design with the dead black eyes and the orange nose, and she has an interesting color redesign, which I think is pretty neat. The night could have been a lot harder if this wasn't like the 7th or 8th time I played through the game, because again, I goofed up a lot and had to replay it many times. It still took a few attempts to get used to, but I got there fairly quickly. And finally, after all is said and done, we get this. Oh, that's horrible.
Get away from me. Oh, get away from me.
Suffocating darkness surrounds. You're alone. This is what you wanted. This is what had to be done. Then why does it still hurt? And so with that, Michael burns down the pizzeria, this time with all the souls inside the animatronics being set free. Except from, you know, that one. This is the final ending of the game. Honestly, this is one of the best FNAF games I've played in years. I hope it gets all the love it deserves. I'll leave the Game Jolt page in the description as well if you want to check it out. Everything in this game is basically perfect. I can't really think about anything specifically that's wrong with the game. One thing that bugs me, though, is the aspect ratio. Normally, I prefer games to, you know, have a full screen thing without needing to stretch it or anything. But that is just personal preference. Everything from the character models to the characters, the lighting, everything is just really just amazing. You know, I'm really glad I took the time to play through it all. I think I can officially call myself the master of this game now, so, yeah, give me the Banshee crown, please. Thank you. This video is definitely a lot longer than anything I've made in the past, so I think in the future I'm going to keep things maybe smaller scope. I just wanted to do something longer for Halloween, so happy Halloween, and if it's not Halloween, happy Halloween. A big shout again to Kimazuru, I'm sorry again for saying that wrong if I did, for making the game, obviously, and also a big thank you to Jericho Games. You should check out their videos on how much the FNAF animatronics would actually be worth. And with that, that's the end of the video. If you like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe and leave a like. But most importantly, leave a comment, because engagement helps me. Please. As I'm writing the script, I got a notification on my phone that, oh yeah, I just uploaded a video on FNAF Banshee. Well, no one's watching this video. Bye-bye!